Thank you for watching this video on programming Google Gemini. I'm Dr. Chris Jameson. In this channel, we talk about AI programming, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Google Gemini. In this video, we'll see how to create an application that displays a form that lets you interact with Google Gemini. Hopefully by now you've gone to Google AI Studio and interacted at the prompt with Google Gemini. You can generate text. You can use it as a search engine. You can use it to create code. There's unlimited ways to use it. The true power of Google Gemini, however, comes when you start to integrate it into your applications. In this case, I'm using it to generate a text about artificial intelligence. I'm asking it to write a poem. I can expand on this and ask it to write a poem like Shakespeare would or Walt Whitman would, and it'll immediately give me my response. Similarly, I've asked it to create a press release. I've got a new book coming out on ChatGPT programming, and I tell it about myself, and in seconds, it gives me a press release that's suitable for publication. I can also use it to generate Python code. And it's not always right, so you still need to have some Python programming skills, but it's a great way to get a quick proof of concept. So you may be asking, how do I program Google Gemini myself? I want to create text generation within my own applications, and that's what we're going to look at here. So to get started in Python, you need to first install Google-Generative AI. And once you've done that with pip, you'll need a Google Gemini key, which you can get from the Google AI Studio. And then you're ready to go. We're going to build a form that allows us to give some context to our chat. What are we trying to create? And then we can ask a question that says, use my context to create a press release, use my context to create a poem, use my context to summarize it and give me a bulleted list. And so you can interact with this application just as you would the Google Gemini prompt. And when you click the submit button, it's going to use the Google API to interact with Gemini and then to display the results here. So let's take a look at the code. First, to set things up, I'm going to be using TK-Interact to create a window-based form. And then I tell it I want to use Google Generated AI. I'm going to import OS because I'm going to get my Google key from an operating system environment. That way I don't have to hard code my key into my code, which other people could see. And then I tell it I want to use the Gemini Pro model, and I'm ready to go. And so I've got a function called submit query that's going to actually do the call and then display the results in my form. And so I start out, I go out and I get the text from the question I'm asking, create a press release, give me a summary, give me a bulleted list. And I've got the context, which has my text that I'm having it analyze. And then I just call the model, passing those things to it. And when I get the results, I then delete the current output text, so I've got space for the new output. I insert what the API returned to me, and I re-enable my submit button. When I call the function, I disable the submit button so that they can't keep clicking submit while the API is processing. It's going to take some time. And then to set things up, I've allowed cut and paste operations for my text. That way I don't have to type everything. I can just cut and paste it from another document. So I've enabled that. When you use TK-Enter as your interface, it normally has a thread that just monitors the UI. And if you call asynchronous API, it can take some time, and the thread that's monitoring the AI can almost want to time out. And so to avoid that, I use a second thread to call the API. And so I've got a function call underscore API in thread that starts the thread that does my submit query when they click on the submit button. And then the rest of the code is just kind of setting up the UI. And I'm not going to go over it in detail because you can download the code to get started. But this is just building the AI, wrapping things up. You can see that on the submit button. I call my thread, call underscore API in thread that calls the Google Gemini API in a second thread so we don't disrupt the thread that's monitoring the UI. And so again, you can get the source code from my website, and it's Query Gemini or Gemini Query.html. Download that, cut and paste it, and you're good to go. And so ideally subscribe to this channel. We're going to be talking about lots of different AI programming, and also check out the books, AI Programming for Kids and OpenAI and ChatGPT Programming, which both go into fundamental details of how to create AI applications. So thanks for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in other videos.